If you're someone who checks your investment account every few days, hoping it finally looks impressive, and instead you see something like portfolio value $3,842 after months or even years of trying to save and invest, yeah, this video is for you. And honestly, this is where a lot of people quietly give up because nobody tells you how painfully slow the beginning feels. Everyone online talks about compound interest like it's magic. Just invest early. Your money will grow while you sleep. Time in the market beats timing the market. Okay, cool, but when you're staring at a portfolio that only went up like $37 this month, it doesn't feel magical. It feels broken. So if you're someone who feels discouraged because your investments still look small, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Because today, we're talking about the hidden reason the first $10,000 invested feels so slow, and why this frustrating stage is actually the most important financial stage of your entire life. Look, here's the thing most people don't realize. Building wealth is not linear. It feels linear emotionally, but mathematically, it's exponential. And those are very different things. Most people think wealth grows like this: $1,000, then $2,000, then $3,000, nice and steadily. But real wealth growth looks more like this: tiny movement, tiny movement, tiny movement, and then suddenly things start accelerating aggressively. The problem? Most people quit before the acceleration starts because the beginning feels emotionally unrewarding. Let me show you what I mean. Let's say you invest $500 per month. That's actually more than many Americans save. According to bank rate surveys, a large percentage of Americans can't even cover a $1,000 emergency expense without debt. So already saving $500 monthly puts you ahead of a lot of people. But watch how weird this math feels psychologically. After 1 year, you invested $6,000. If the market grows around 8% annually, your portfolio might only be worth around $6,200 to $6,400. That's it. You worked an entire year, and your money maybe made a few $100s. Emotionally, that feels disappointing. Now, after 2 years, maybe you invested around $12,000 total. Portfolio value, maybe around $13,000. Still doesn't feel life-changing, and this is where people start thinking, investing doesn't work. I'm too late. This is pointless. But that's because they misunderstand what phase they were currently in. Imagine trying to push a giant flywheel. At first, it barely moves. You push, nothing happens. Push again. Still slow. But eventually, the wheel gains momentum, and suddenly each push becomes more powerful than the last. Wealth works exactly the same way. The first $10,000 is not about returns. It's about constructing the machine that creates future wealth. Here's what most people don't realize. At the beginning, your contributions matter more than investment growth. Later, investment growth matters more than your contributions. That's the transition people never talk about. This is where it gets interesting. Let's compare two people. Person A has $2,000 invested. Person B has $100,000 invested. Now assume the market grows 10%. Person A made $200. Person B made $10,000. See the difference? Person B's money just made more money than many people save all year. That's the power of scale, and this is why the beginning feels so painfully slow. Your portfolio simply isn't large enough yet for compounding to feel dramatic. Compound interest is like planting a tree. The first years look unimpressive. Tiny trunk, tiny branches, but underground, the roots are spreading aggressively, and eventually, growth becomes explosive. Now let's talk about the real problem. Because honestly, the math isn't what stops people. Psychology is. Human brains are terrible at appreciating slow progress. We crave immediate rewards. This is why people overspend, gamble, chase crypto hype, buy lottery tickets, finance luxury cars because humans love fast dopamine. But wealth building is delayed gratification. And delayed gratification feels emotionally invisible. That's why someone will quit investing while continuing to spend $200 monthly on things they barely remember buying. Crazy, right? But psychologically, it makes sense. One gives immediate pleasure, the other gives invisible future rewards. And invisible rewards are hard for the brain to value. Look, social media completely destroys people's perception of wealth. You open TikTok and see 22-year-olds buying Lamborghinis, crypto millionaires, day traders making $14,000 today, entrepreneurs flexing watches. And suddenly, your $7,300 investment account feels pathetic. But here's the hidden truth. Most actual wealth looks boring. Seriously, real wealth often looks like automated index fund contributions, boring retirement accounts, consistent investing, patience, long time horizons, not flashy lifestyles. According to studies from Ramsey Solutions and the National Study of Millionaires, most millionaires didn't become rich through gambling, trading, or viral business success. Many became wealthy through steady investing, retirement accounts, long-term consistency. But consistency isn't exciting content, so people online rarely show it. Now, psychologically, $10,000 changes people. Not because it's enough to retire, obviously not, but because it's proof. Proof that you can delay gratification, you can build financial discipline, you can accumulate assets. You're no longer financially asleep. And mathematically, things begin accelerating after this point. Let's use simple numbers. Imagine you invest $10,000. Market grows 10%. That's $1,000 growth. Now, compare that to $100,000 invested. That becomes $10,000 growth. See what's happening? Eventually, your investments begin contributing almost as much as you do, and later, more than you do. That's the moment wealth starts feeling real. Charlie Munger once famously said, "The first $100,000 is a B.A." And honestly, he was right, because the beginning requires maximum effort for minimum visible reward. But after enough capital builds up, compound growth begins carrying more weight. For example, at $5,000 invested, a 10% year adds $500. At $500,000 invested, a 10% year adds $50,000. That's more than many full-time salaries. And this is the mental shift people need to understand. At first, you carry the portfolio. Later, the portfolio starts carrying you. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so what should I actually do? Good question. The biggest mistake people make early on is obsessing over returns instead of contribution rate. At the beginning, your savings rate matters way more than investment performance. People waste insane amounts of energy trying to beat the market, pick stocks, predict crashes, time entries. Meanwhile, they're only investing like $150 monthly. That's focusing on the wrong problem, because increasing your investment contributions by $300 monthly often matters more than finding a slightly better return, especially early on. Here's what most people should focus on during the first $10,000 phase. 1. Increase income. This matters massively early on. A side hustle adding $500 monthly changes everything. 2. Automate investing. Remove emotion. Automatic investing prevents inconsistency. 3. Ignore short-term market noise. Seriously, stop checking every 3 hours. 4. Build identity. This is huge psychologically. Don't think, I'm trying to invest. Think, I'm an investor. Identity changes behavior. 5. Prioritize consistency over perfection. Missing 1 month doesn't ruin your future. Quitting does. This is something nobody talks about enough. Small investment accounts actually teach you the most valuable financial lessons, because early investing teaches patience, emotional control, discipline, delayed gratification, risk tolerance. And honestly, those skills matter more than stock picking. A person with strong financial psychology can eventually build wealth, but someone emotionally unstable with money, even high income won't save them. We see this constantly with athletes, celebrities, lottery winners. People can earn millions and still go broke. Why? Because behavior beats income long term. Let me tell you a quick story. Imagine two people. One person starts investing at 22, small amounts, nothing impressive. The account grows painfully slowly. Meanwhile, their friends travel constantly, buy expensive cars, flex lifestyles online. The investor feels behind. Years pass, still feels slow. Then around their 30s, something strange happens. The account suddenly starts growing faster. The market gains become larger. Compound growth becomes visible. By their 40s, the portfolio begins generating more yearly growth than they personally contribute. And eventually, the entire financial trajectory of their life changes. Not because of genius, not because of luck, because they survived the slow phase. That's the secret. Honestly, most people don't fail financially because they're stupid. They fail because they become discouraged too early. They quit during the invisible progress stage. The first $10,000 feels slow because compounding hasn't scaled yet. Your brain craves faster rewards. Social media distorts expectations. Wealth creation is emotionally boring early on. But the people who push through, those are often the people who quietly become wealthy later. So if your portfolio feels small right now, if your progress feels invisible, if you're wondering whether investing is even worth it, understand this. The beginning is supposed to feel slow. You're building the foundation. You're developing the habits. You're constructing the machine. And one day, the same portfolio that once barely moved will begin growing faster than you ever imagined. But only if you survive the early phase. Most people quit. That's the hidden reason the first $10,000 feels so slow. Not because investing doesn't work, but because compound growth hasn't fully awakened yet. And once it does, everything changes.